You're listening to the First Fight podcast, home of the people and stories behind the fight. I'm Jennifer Anderson, the host and creator. My goal is to give you a peek into the remarkable world of fighting and create a platform for fighters to tell their stories. In each episode of this series, a different fighter shares a transformative story of their first time. Welcome back, everyone. In this episode, I talk with a rising star in the UFC's featherweight division, Shane Burgos. As an avid fight fan, he has had the opportunity to live out his dreams as a prize fighter in the UFC. We talk a little bit about what that's like. He shares his first fight experience as well as what was frustrating about it. And we also talk about what drives him to always hunt for the finish. Thanks for coming on the show, Shane. I'm actually a big fan. I think you probably have some of the best boxing in the UFC, so
appreciate that. Thank you.
Excited to have you. I actually saw you fight, I think, for the first time at UFC Long Island.
Okay, yeah. That was a good
which was like probably my favorite card I've ever seen live.
That might have been my favorite card to be on.
Yeah.
That was so
It
much
was wild. Fun. There was so many like bangers on that card, like every fight.
Yep. Super underrated card.
Yeah. And I've been to a lot of live fights, and it gave me chills. Even like when Weidman won, it was pretty cool atmosphere.
And I like that it started early. I fought at 4:00. You know how nice that was at 4? I was done at 4:30. I was like, oh my God, this is weird.
It was amazing. And I met your wife at MSG at UFC 244.
Last one or the one before?
The most recent one that my husband fought on, she was sitting right in front of me, and we kind of figured it out that we had someone fighting, and then I met you guys in the green room, so she's a sweetheart.
She's nice. I like her.
She's okay.
Yeah, she's cool.
So I know you were like a big fighting fan before you even got involved in it, and you started pretty young. What was it like getting into your first MMA fight?
So I started training. I live in Monroe, New York. It's about an hour away from the city. Became a huge fan in like 7th or 8th grade, I'd say. I saw one of the old school UFC Unleashed episodes. I saw Matt Hughes slam Carlos Newton, and I was like, what you can slam people and knock them out and win title? I was like, what is this? I was like, this is insane. So I just became hooked ever since then, started watching it religiously. And then one of my friends in high school, I just started end of 9th grade. He was like, there's a gym that's right down the road. It's right by our high school. He's like, they do jiu-jitsu and kickboxing classes. And I was like, oh, really? Yeah. He's like, I was like, what's it called? He's like, Tiger Showman's. I was like, oh, I thought they were a karate school. I didn't know they did kickboxing and jiu-jitsu. He's like, yeah, we can do the month trial for $100 and we can go try it out. I'm like, all right, let's go. So me and my 3 friends went. I didn't miss one class. From the first class, I was like, okay, this isn't even fun. This is like a whole new level of fun. I was like, I'm obsessed with this. Like I didn't. They have classes 6 days a week. I was there every single day for that first month. At the end of the first month, I was like, my dad, we sat down with the instructor. I was only 15 at the time. And we were like talking about prices, and it was just too much money. My dad couldn't swing at the time. So my instructor, my sensei at the time, he offered me a deal to clean the school for a discount. So I was like, yeah, for sure, I'll do it. So I would clean the mats. I would clean the bathrooms. I would do everything before training and after training. And I'd be able to train at a discount. So I was doing that for 3 years, and I knew I wanted to fight. I did a bunch of Naga tournaments and stuff like that. I knew I was like, this is something I want to do. Like I'm not a school guy. Like I was not good at school. In high school, I didn't have good grades. 65 was passing, so my goal was to get 65, and that's it. If I get a 65, I was like, yes, I passed. It was either P or F, pass or fail. It wasn't like trying to get 100. I was like, dude, I'm just trying to get through this. I'm not a school kind of guy. I feel like the whole school thing is kind of overrated anyway. I feel like you can be successful in life without having all of these school accomplishments. So I was just trying to get by with school. Once I was done with high school, I tried college just because I told my mom and dad that I would. I tried it out for a year and a half, and I just slowly my attendance was just slowly falling off after every class. Like I was just slowly missing classes here and there, and then eventually I was like, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to do this. I was at that time I was already 18 years old, and at that point I knew I wasn't going to be anything school related. I was an instructor at the school, and I was getting ready for a fight. So my sensei asked me, he's like, hey, you want to fight, right? I just turned 18, and my first fight was June 6, 2009. I was still in high school actually when I took my first fight. It was pretty wild. Like you don't really know what to expect for your first fight. It was definitely a surreal experience. And I remember the entire thing. The buildup was weird. I was like, I'm training, but I don't know how to train for a fight. Like I did a bunch of nagas and stuff like that and kickboxing tournaments coming up. I was like, do I train any different for it? Do I train harder for it? 18 years old, you don't really know what the hell you're doing. I don't know how to diet. And I used to fight at 135 right then, back then. So I was a really skinny kid in high school. So I had to end up cutting like 5-6 pounds, which I was like, oh my God, this is so hard, which is hilarious now because the amount of weight I compared to that is like, dude, shut up. Like you fucking, I was complaining about 5 or 6 pounds when that's minuscule. I didn't do the sauna or anything. I just did like a diet, what I thought was dieting. I would eat like the frozen, what do you call it? Like lean cuisines and stuff like that. I'm thinking that, yeah. You're 18 years old. You don't really, I don't have any other brothers. I don't have any family members that were doing it. So I was like, yeah, all right. So I got down to 135 pounds. It sucked. I was complaining the whole time. And then, do the weigh-ins and everything like that, do the face-offs. And I'm getting ready. Like, wow, this is like pretty weird. Like I'm about to go fight somebody. I'm like, I've been watching this on TV for so long. I'm getting gloved up and wrapped up. And I'm like, I'm just sitting in the whole thing, like in my mind, like, holy shit, like I'm about to go in a cage and fight somebody. And there's a bunch of people out there. I don't know if you were at my last fight. You like, I have a lot of friends and a lot of family. Yeah. Since my first fight, it's been that way. I've had probably my first amateur fight. I probably had over 50 people, like with and I'd say 40 of them were family. Like I have a huge family, so I was in the back. I was one of the, I think it was like the third or fourth fight in the back, and I'm just like, wow, this is weird. Get my hands wrapped up. I get to go outside and I see some of my family members and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, guys, I'll see you after I go get this win. So I go backstage, start warming up, and I wasn't nervous. It was the weirdest thing. I was just like, this is just weird. The whole time I'm thinking, this is so surreal. Like I'm warming up, hitting pads. I see the cage out there. I'm like, all right, my music plays. I walk out to the cage, and again, I'm not nervous at all. I'm just like, cool. All right, this is kind of like almost like an outer body experience where I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna go out there and fight. First, the referee says, "You ready? You ready?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I'm ready. Yeah. All right, let's go." They come out and we start going, and the dude comes at me hard. And I was like, "Oh shit, we're fighting. We're really fighting." I completely lose sense of the crowd and everything like that. I'm like, all right, now it's a fist fight. Like this is not a game. It's a fist fight. We're fist fighting right now. So he ends up kneeing me in the nuts within like the first 10 seconds, and the referee doesn't see it. It's like, oh, holding on to my groin, and he gets me up against the cage, holding on to me. And he gets a takedown, throw my legs over his head because I what a lot of people don't know is when I first started training, I used to jump guard all the time. Like I was a guard puller. I had a really good guard. I love throwing up triangles and stuff like that from the guard. So he takes me down. I throw up a triangle right away, like a reverse triangle. Like his neck is like, I have a pretty cool picture. His neck's like breaking backwards. He gets up. He's like, all right, never mind. Don't go to the ground. And we stand back up and we just start throwing bombs. And the end of that first round, again, I ended in a fully locked in triangle choke, squeezing as hard as I can. I'm like, all right, I got this. The bell rings. I'm like, shit, adrenaline dump. I'm like, oh my God. My legs feel like heavy. And I'm like, fucking, I'm tired as shit. I go back to the corner. Coaches tell me some things. And I'm just like, I don't even really remember what they said. I was just like, man, my legs are heavy right now. But I look across and he was gassed. He spent all his energy within the first minute and a half, I would say. So we come out and I remember my coach says, throw the 2-3-2. Throw the 2-3-2. I remember, all right. So I go out there and bang, bang, bang. I hit the 2-3 and the 2. I was like, holy shit, it worked. And he screams something else. He screams out another combination. I hit that one. I'm like, oh crap. We get into another grappling exchange. Again, these are only 3-minute rounds for amateur fights. I end up on my back, and I throw up another triangle, and I'm squeezing. I'm like, all right, I got this one. Bell rings again. I'm like, fucking gotta be kidding me. I'm like, yeah, that's 2 in a row. Go back to my stool. I'm like, shit, I am freaking tired. This sucks. But my coach is like, you think you're tired? Look at him. He's like huffing and puffing. I'm like, all right, cool. You're right. Anytime as a fighter, when you see your opponent's even more tired than you are, that just gives you like, all right, I can do this all day. So even back then, I was like, all right, I'm good. He's tired. I'm not tired anymore. So go back up for the third round. The third round was just a banger. We started throwing bombs. I get him in an arm bar at one point, and we were so sweaty that his arm just slipped out when I went to crank it. So it slips out, and he turns in, and I get him in another triangle. And I'm squeezing squeezing as hard as I can. In my mind, again, I'm like, here we go. Third time to charm. Squeezing. And then the bell rings, and the fight's over. I'm like, holy shit. My legs are shot at this point. I'm like, damn, how did he – the dude was tough. He did not tap to any submission. I threw up 3 triangles, an arm bar. I was like, holy shit. I ended up getting a unanimous decision win. I won all 3 rounds. It was a crazy experience. I could go outside the cage, give all my family, my friends hugs. Like, that was so awesome. At this point, the adrenaline's rushing. I'm not tired at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just won my first fight ever. I'm on cloud 20. I'm hyped up. All my friends, my family, my brothers, everyone's there. I'm like, this is like the best feeling I ever felt in my life. This is so cool. That's when it becomes like not surreal anymore. And it's like, holy shit, I just did that. It sunk in. I'm like, wow. I go back into the locker room and talk to my friends, my coaches, my teammates. I'm like, because we had like 7 fighters on the card at that time. So they're all hyped up. They're congratulating me. I'm like, that was so freaking cool. I sit down and I'm like, whoa. The room starts spinning. Again, adrenaline just dump. I was like, holy shit. I don't know if I'm hungry. I didn't eat, didn't drink enough. I dehydrated. I was like, I don't know. But the room was like, I remember just sitting back and the room was like spinning, like somebody was just tilting a camera. And I was like, I need a minute, guys. I was like, just give me a minute. Let's get some water. I don't know what happened. Maybe I probably didn't rehydrate properly if I think about it, because again, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was eating lean cuisines to cut weight. So I didn't have much experience. I didn't do wrestling in high school either. So that was a completely new experience to me. Once that subsided, I got to go out there and watch the rest of my teammates win. And I think we did a clean sweep on that card, I'm pretty sure. So the entire experience was, it was unforgettable. It was an awesome night. That's basically my long story short first fight.
That's amazing.
It was a good one.
Did you know right away that you wanted to continue doing it? I mean, you seem to have been in love with it from the start.
Absolutely. From the first class, I was like, wow, this is something that I've liked other things. Like I've liked some other sports. I've liked some things here and there, but I was like, I love this. Like, I don't like it. I love this. I can actually say this is a passion of mine. And I'm 15 years old. Yeah, I just turned 15 years old. And I was like, wow, actually to say that I found something that I love this much, that I'm passionate about at this age, I was like, that's a good feeling. Because I know people go on their whole life not ever finding their passion. So I embrace that, and I appreciate it too.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
and you actually started out as more of a grappler.
Yeah, like not to speak about to go off my first fight, going to my second fight. Like I told you, I used to pull guard. In my second fight, I actually jumped guard in the first round. And the first fight I won by decision. So my second fight, I jumped guard within like the first minute of the second round. Of the first round. I jumped guard. I get him in omoplata, and it was kind of like a highlight reel finish for me. Still out of all my finishes, I get him in an omoplata. While I have the omoplata, I get him in a rear naked choke at the same time. So I have his arm behind his back, and I have the rear naked choke, and I'm squeezing, and he's not tapping. I end up putting him to sleep, and I was like, oh my gosh! I was like, that was in a minute and 30 seconds. So get the first fight was cool because it was your first fight, but it was a decision to finish somebody and to put him to sleep. I was like, holy shit, that was another level of endorphins and of adrenaline. That was awesome. So after that one, I was like, yeah, I'm never stopping this.
So, and I've heard you say like you're always hunting for the finish. Is that why?
Yeah.
Because of that rush you get from winning
Yes.
that way?
Absolutely. I mean, a win is always great, especially in the UFC because you double your pay, right? But when you stop somebody with your bare hands, like with a knockout or even with a submission, make him quit, there's no better feeling in the world. As weird as that might sound, it really is no better feeling.
That's amazing. I mean, you box like you don't box like people box with 4-ounce gloves.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm not scared. Yeah, that's what it is. I kind of like that I embrace that like kill or be killed mindset. Like I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna try to put it on this guy. I'm gonna die trying.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy it. A lot of people do. Your division's just like my favorite division.
I agree. It's fine.
I love the 145-pound division. 35 is getting interesting too, but you just so much talent in your division. Any matchup is like a dream matchup.
Yeah, if you look at the top 15, like that ain't top, like champion to 15, everyone is talented. Everyone is exciting.
So what is it like for you being such a big fan, actually living your dream and being around it all the time?
It's pretty weird sometimes when I sit back and think about it. A lot of times, like when I see my name on TV or I see my own fights, I really don't even like to watch my own fights. But just seeing that, I'm like, oh, it's pretty fucking weird. I'm like, because I've been watching this sport for so long, and a lot of times, like I fought on the same card as a lot of guys that I've been looking up to since I was 13, 14, 15. Like I fought on the same card as Andre Arlovsky, where he was one of my favorite fighters back in the day. Like when he was the pit bull and he was knocking everybody out, I was like, this is crazy. And I'm on the card with him, and I'm fighting after him too. I'm like, this is freaking weird, man.
That's amazing. Your debut was on. I was there. I don't remember seeing it, but Corey fought on Albany.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep. That was 3.5 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while. What would you say fighting is to you? Like, what element do you enjoy the most?
Uh, just, the most obvious one, winning. Winning is my favorite. Getting my hand raised, like whether there's a knockout submission, winning is always the absolute best feeling. But I really enjoy being in there. Like when you're just, I really do enjoy it. When, like there's a point in your mind where you know that you're winning the fight, and you know you're gonna win the fight. Like it doesn't happen until you find your range. You know what I mean? You get your footing. You find your comfort zone. Once you get to that zone and you're kind of like in cruise control where you're like, I know I'm gonna win this fight. It's just a matter of when I'm gonna win it. You know what I mean? That feeling is I really enjoy that feeling, honestly. Where I know that this guy can't do anything. I'm gonna beat him.
Yeah. What would you say has been the most surreal moment you've had so far?
I'll give you two. The first time at MSG, where I didn't think about it being MSG at all. I was like, all right, MSG doesn't matter. It could be a backyard. I'm gonna fight the way I fight. And then I sat back, and once I was done, I was like, holy shit, that's pretty cool. That's a legendary arena. I just fought in there, so that was awesome. And then the fight after that, after my first MSG fight, the Cub Swanson fight. Who's not a fan of Cub Swanson? You know what I mean? Especially like I watched WC, Strikeforce, Pride. I watched all of them growing up, not just UFC. So to go in there and fight a legend like that, the dude, how many fight of the nights does he have? Fight of the years does he have? To go in there and get a win over someone like that was, I'd say, the most surreal.
Yeah.
Again, when I sat back at there and I was like, shit, I've been watching that kid since I was 13, and I just got to win over him.
Was that hard for you?
No, I didn't think about it till after. I put no stock into it. I was like, you know, he's a man. He bleeds blood just like I do. He's not my friend. He's my opponent this time, so I'm going in there to take him out. So I took the like being a fan shit, and I threw that completely out. I feel like I'm able to do a good job with that. I don't really put stock into things like arenas or opponents until after. Once I'm done with the fight, I can think about how that was cool to fight in MSG, or that was cool to fight Cub Swanson. But while I'm in the fight, it's just me and him. It doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah. Do you have like a list or dream fights for yourself?
Man, honestly, the dream fight is a title fight. I want to fight for that title. I feel like every fighter obviously does, but as an opponent wise, no, not really. I wouldn't say that. It's cool, like being in the like when you sit back and you think about it, it's cool. But looking forward, no, I just want to fight for the belt and win the belt.
Yeah. So you recently signed with new management and tested out free agency.
Yeah.
Kind of scary. What made you do that?
Money. I wanted to get paid more. That's the number one thing. I'm a prize fighter, and I feel like this is definitely the hardest sport, and we're not paid the best. But I wanted to go in there, I put all the pressure on me. I put all my chips on myself instead of I bet myself, and I fought on my contract. I knew I wanted to resign with the UFC. The best fighters in the world fight in the UFC, and a couple other reasons, but I couldn't justify getting paid the same what I was getting paid. So I was like, you know what, I need to roll the dice, gamble, put all my chips on myself, and go out there, show out. And I did, and I got a new deal with the UFC, and it's a good deal. I'm very happy with the deal.
Good. You should. I mean, you're extremely talented, and more people should do that. The problem is that it's like ingrained in the whole culture of fighting is that all fighters have this same, I think, mentality, or a lot of fighters do, where they are just happy to get what they can, you know. And
I understand that, and I was that at that point. But then when you have a family, you have a house, you have bills, it's like, dude, I got a kid. Like, I'm not just trying to fight just for peanuts. Basically, I need to fight for real money. Mm-hmm. So we're at that point now. Shout out to first round management. Hook me up with that.
Who were you with originally?
I was with one of my training partners, good friends.
Okay. Well, first round is one of the top management groups, that's for sure. Well, you deserve it. I mean, you're there, but you're also, I think, the future of the division as well. You're still really young, and
I agree.
What do you see for yourself next? You don't have anything booked right now, I'm assuming.
We're working on some things. I can't say anything yet, but I hope it counts within the next week or two, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait. Like I said, I'm a big striking nerd, so when I see someone with good boxing, and you're technical, but you'll bang it out too, which is fun. Thank you. Like Max Holloway is kind of like that. He's technical, but he has no problem getting
Exactly.
a little reckless. So
Yep.
that's what keeps it interesting.
Yep, I agree.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on, taking the time, and I am looking forward to seeing your next fight. It's been a while.
It's been too long, honestly, long overdue. Oh, hopefully this COVID shit is done. I feel like I would have been in there earlier if it wasn't for this, but suck it up, and I'm ready for the next one.
Awesome. Well, thanks again.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Thanks again for listening. I enjoy talking with Shane. I'm a huge fan of his. He has an amazing striking ability, and him and his wife are just super nice, down-to-earth people. We look forward to seeing his next fight. It's secret as of now, but hopefully they get it all worked out, and we have an exciting featherweight matchup soon. As usual, you can follow us on Instagram at The First Fight. And you can check out our website, get updates on all of our episodes at firstfightpodcast.com. Thanks again.